First in the spotlight tonight is the comedian Dane Baptiste. His specialist subject, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Next, the blogger Grace Victory. She'll be answering questions on Beyoncé. The Hollyoaks actress Annie Wallace takes as her subject Doctor Who. And Martin Bell on another great war reporter, Sir William Howard Russell. Hello and welcome to Celebrity Mastermind with me, John Humphrys, and four people who may, at this stage, be wondering why they said yes to being here tonight. It's not as if they get a fee, it goes to charity, but they could earn the great honour of becoming a celebrity mastermind. To do so, they get 90 seconds of questions on their specialist subject and 2 minutes of general knowledge. So let us ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Dane Baptiste.
Your chosen charity?
The Kensington and Chelsea Foundation.
And your chosen subject?
The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
In 90 seconds, starting now, who has played Happy Hogan in all 3 of the Iron Man films? He also directed the first 2 films in the series.
Jon Favreau.
Yep, Captain America's indestructible shield is made from a fictional rare element said to be stronger than steel and a third of its weight. What's it called?
Vibranium.
Yep. What is the name of the spaceship owned by Peter Quill in Guardians of the Galaxy, which is reconstructed by the Nova Corps in gratitude for his part in saving the planet Xander?
Pass.
Which S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, played by Scarlett Johansson, is a former Soviet spy? She joins the Avengers in the defence of New York City against Loki and his warriors.
Black Widow.
Yep. What is the name of the spiritual retreat in Kathmandu that Dr. Stephen Strange travels to after his career as a surgeon is ended by a near-fatal car crash?
Pass.
In the Iron Man films, Gwyneth Paltrow plays Tony Stark's personal assistant who becomes the CEO of Stark Industries. What's her name?
Pepper Potts.
Yep. On which abandoned planet does Peter Quill, the self-styled legendary outlaw and Star-Lord, find an orb that contains one of the 6 Infinity Stones in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Pass. Pass.
In Thor, The Dark World, Thor describes a phenomenon that happens every 5,000 years when the 9 worlds align and their borders are blurred. What's it called?
Pass.
In Iron Man, what award is handed to a reluctant Tony Stark in the casino at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas because he'd missed the formal presentation ceremony?
Medal.
The Apogee Award. Who plays the title character in the 2017 film Spider-Man Homecoming? He had previously played the part in Captain America Civil War.
Pass.
I can tell you because you're out of time. Tom Holland is the answer to that. And your other pass is, when the 9 worlds align and their borders are blurred, it's called the convergence. That abandoned planet was Morag. The name of the spiritual retreat in Kathmandu was Kamar Taj. And the name of the spaceship owned by Peter Quill was the Milano. Dane, you have 4 points.
Thanks.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Grace Victory.
Your chosen charity?
Solace.
And your chosen subject?
Beyoncé.
Beyoncé in 90 seconds, starting now. What is the title of Beyoncé's 2016 studio album that was released as a visual album as well as in audio-only format?
Beyoncé.
Lemonade. What is the name of Beyoncé's on-stage alter ego? She used it in the title of her 2008 studio album.
Sasha Fierce.
Yep. Under what band name did Beyoncé and her friends perform on the television talent show Star Search?
Girls' Time.
Yep. Who said during her acceptance speech at the 2017 Grammy Awards that Beyoncé was the artist of her life and should have won Album of the Year?
Adele.
Yep. With which song did Beyoncé have her first UK top 10 hit as a solo artist in July 2002, although it did not get into the US Billboard Hot 100 chart?
Pass.
At what festival was Beyoncé a headline act in June 2011? Her performance prompted the London Evening Standard critic to write, "Entertained, I almost needed respiratory treatment."
Glastonbury.
Yep. What is the title of the Destiny's Child album that Beyoncé, Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams released in November 2004 after a 3-year hiatus?
Pass.
What two names did Beyoncé and her husband Jay-Z choose for their first daughter, who was born on the 7th of January 2012?
Blue Ivy.
Yep. At which hairdressing salon in Houston, owned by Beyoncé's mother Tina, did a young Beyoncé and her fellow band members perform for the customers?
Pass.
Which notorious criminal couple are referred to in the title of Beyoncé and Jay-Z's first single together, released in 2002?
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yep. What name that reflected her marriage status was given to Beyoncé's extensive world tour that commenced in April 2013?
Pass.
Well, I can tell you because we're out of time. It was the Mrs. Carter Show. Yep. And your other passes, that hairdressing salon was called Headliners. The title of the Destiny's Child album was Destiny Fulfilled. And the song with which she had her first UK top 10 hit as a solo artist was Work It Out. Grace, you have 6 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Annie Wallace.
Your chosen charity?
Mermaids.
And your chosen subject?
Doctor Who, 1970 to 1980.
In 90 seconds, starting now. Which actor first appeared as the Fourth Doctor in December 1974 and went on to play the part for over 6 years?
Tom Baker.
Yep. What's the title of the adventure from 1970 in which small alien energy units land in Oxley Wood? It was the first one to feature John Pertwee as the Doctor.
Spearhead from Space.
Yep. Scaroth, also known as Count Scarleone, is a character who appears in the story City of Death. He's the last remaining survivor of which ancient race?
A Jaggeroth.
Yes. In The Demons, what is the name of the village near which an archaeological dig takes place to open up an ancient burial mound?
Devil's End.
Yep. In which fictional village in Wales is the closed coal mine that forms the location for much of the action in The Green Death?
Pass.
At the end of Spearhead from Space, the Doctor apparently reveals his full name to Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. What does he say it is?
John Smith.
Yes. In the Pyramids of Mars, the alien Sutekh is released from imprisonment by the destruction of an alien artifact. What was it called?
Pass.
In which city are the Doctor and his companion Romana relaxing in 1979 at the start of the story City of Death?
Paris.
Yep. What giant creature do the Doctor and Leela encounter in the London sewers when they investigate the death of the cabbie Joseph Buller in The Talons of Weng Chang?
Rat.
Yes. The journalist Sarah Jane Smith first meets the Doctor at a research centre while she's posing as one of her own relatives. What's the relative's name?
Lavinia.
Yes. In The Invisible Enemy, what's the name of the best friend and constant companion of Professor Marius?
K9.
Yep. Who makes a cameo appearance alongside Eleanor Bron in City of Death when they discuss the TARDIS, located in a Paris museum, as an art installation?
John Cleese.
John Cleese is correct. You had 2 passes. That alien artefact was called the Eye of Horus, and the fictional village in Wales, the closed coal mine and all that, was Llanfarfach.
Oh, well, of course.
Annie, you have 10 points. And our final contender, please. And your name, as if I didn't know.
My name is Martin Bell.
Your chosen charity.
UNICEF, the UN Children's Fund.
And your chosen subject.
The great war correspondent, William Howard Russell.
In 90 seconds starting now, Russell was a Victorian journalist and war reporter. What 3-word phrase from his account of the 93rd Highlanders at Balaclava became synonymous with the bravery of the British infantry?
Thin Red Line.
Yes, Russell was the Times reporter at the funeral of a statesman and military hero in November 1852. Which statesman?
Duke of Wellington.
Yep. When he became engaged to Mary Burroughs, Russell took a staff job and reported on the Irish potato famine for what daily newspaper?
The Times.
Chronicle. Which university, where he'd previously studied, awarded Russell an honorary doctorate in 1856?
Trinity College, Dublin.
Yep. What's the title of Russell's novel that appeared in 3 volumes in 1868 in Tinsley's magazine?
The Adventures of Dr. Brady.
Yeah. Which periodical that dealt with the defence of Britain and the Empire did Russell help to found at the end of 1859? He remained its editor for 40 years.
Army and Navy Gazette.
Yes, what was the name of the Governor-General of India who met Russell when he arrived in Calcutta in January 1858 to report on the aftermath of the Indian Mutiny?
Lord Canning.
Yes. Which statesman did Russell meet in March 1861? He described him as considerably over 6 feet in height, with stooping shoulders, long pendulous arms terminating in hands of extraordinary dimensions.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yes, Russell was arrested when he went on a hunting trip in Illinois in autumn 1861. What was his crime?
His crime was to have gone hunting on a Sunday.
Yes, Russell reported on the first major conflict of the Crimean War when the Russians defended the crossing at which river?
Alma.
Yep. What was the last major European war that Russell described for readers of the Times?
It was the Franco-Prussian War, 1870-1871.
It was indeed. And you have scored, Martin, 10 points. Well, that's the first round done. Let's have a look at the scores. In fourth place, 4 points, Dane. Third place, 6 points, Grace. In joint first place, 10 points apiece, Annie and Martin. So it is the general knowledge round now, and if there's a tie at the end of it, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. So let's get on with it and ask Dane to join us again, please. And Dane, I suppose basically you're a stand-up man, aren't you? But you did do that really good sitcom, Sunny D, on telly. Interested in how you create a kind of fictionalised person yourself. How do you do that?
By having very limited acting lessons and just playing itself.
So you didn't learn to act before you did it?
Well, I had some practice, like I had to work on enunciation. So they made me like rehearse my lines with a cork in my mouth.
Really?
Because I have a mumble, so then when I take it out, then I can speak
Sorry,
properly.
what did you say?
Yeah.
Well, they literally put a cork
Yeah,
in it.
they put a cork in it. You know, it's making all of my primary school teachers happy. And then... So then now I don't speak. And then it was just learning to be a bit more animated and play myself, but an embellished version of myself.
What would you prefer to do, stand-up or acting?
I'd say stand-up is my first love, but then I like to write as well, so I could maybe write some stuff for other actors to do.
Right, well, here we're talking of enjoyment. You've now got 2 minutes of general knowledge questions. Cool. So here we go. What is the word for a female deer?
Doe.
Yep. The name of a race of savage one-eyed giants of Greek mythology means round-eyed in Greek. What are they called?
Cyclops.
Yep. The cerebrum is the largest and uppermost part of an organ in the human body. Which organ?
Brain.
Yep. What Spanish term for a football superstar, usually bought from another club, has been applied to the more talented players at clubs such as Real Madrid?
Galactico.
Yep. Canada has 2 official languages. One of them is English. What's the other?
French.
Yep. In September 2017, Sleep Well Beast became the first UK #1 album for an American indie rock band from Cincinnati, Ohio. Which band?
Pass.
In which Latin American country is tequila distilled from the agave plant?
Mexico.
Yep. What is the common name of the 1624 portrait of a smiling nobleman by the Dutch artist Frans Hals?
Pass.
Which former Spice Girl has topped the UK singles charts only once in April 2001 with What Took You So Long?
Jerry?
Emma Bunton. Charles de Gaulle once remarked on the diversity of France. He said his country has 246 varieties of what?
French.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Which
Okay.
keyboard player co-presented the television series The Tube with Paulie Yates from 1982 to 87?
Pass.
The Orwell Prize, first presented in 1994, is Britain's most prestigious prize for writing on what subject?
Politics?
Yep. Who was nominated for the Best Actor Oscar for playing the disco dancer Tony Manero in the 1977 film Saturday Night Fever?
John Travolta.
Yes. Which English county has upland areas that include the Mendip Hills, the Quantock Hills, and part of Exmoor?
Shropshire?
Somerset. The mnemonic divorced, beheaded and died, divorced, beheaded, survived refers to the fate of the wives of which English king?
Henry VIII.
Yes. The 22nd Amendment to the American Constitution, passed in 1951, restricts any American president to serve a maximum of how many terms?
2.
2 is correct. You had 3 passes. It was Jules Holland who did, The Tube with Paulie Yates. That Frans Hals portrait was of The Laughing Cavalier. And the first UK #1 album for that indie rock band was The National. You have a total now, though, Dane, of 14 points. And now Grace again, please. And as many people know, because you've got a lot of followers, you're a vlogger.
I am.
And you started doing it as a sort of almost a personal therapy.
Yeah, I started doing fashion and beauty originally, and then I kind of branched out to like body image and mental health and more real subjects.
And now you describe it for me. What are you giving the people who watch you?
I think empowerment. So I talk a lot around like bodies and food, wellness, mental health, eating disorders, my journey through therapy and recovery. And I'm not there to be a therapist. I'm just there to kind of be like, you know, it's going to be okay. And that's sometimes what people need.
Interesting. Well, thanks for that. Now, you have 6 points so far.
I do.
2 minutes for your general knowledge, so loads of time to catch up and overtake the field. Here we go. Oslo is the capital city of which country?
Norway.
Yep. What Hungarian spice is an essential ingredient in the dish goulash?
Have no idea. Pass.
What general term is used for a computer's application programs and operating systems as distinct from its physical components?
Hardware.
Software. Who stars as Marisa Ventura, a single mother from the Bronx in the updated 2002 film version of the Cinderella story called Made in Manhattan?
Jennifer Lopez.
Yes. The work by the street artist known as Banksy first appeared in which city?
London.
Bristol. What name is given to the chain of mountain ranges that runs down the west coast of North America from northern British Columbia to central New Mexico?
Pass.
Which boxer, famed for his rivalry with Muhammad Ali, was nicknamed Smoking Joe?
Mike Tyson.
Joe Frazier. Elizabeth Moss won an Emmy in 2017 for playing the concubine Offred in a television drama set in a dystopian future. Which drama?
Pass.
Which English singer-songwriter had his 6th UK #1 single in September 2017 with Too Good at Goodbyes?
Sam Smith.
Yes. Brian Castle, a popular tourist destination in Romania, is associated with the legend of which fictional villain?
Pass.
In Christianity, what name that comes from the Greek for Thanksgiving may be given to the commemoration of the Last Supper?
Pass.
Whom did Theresa May appoint as Secretary of State for International Trade in July 2016? He had worked as a GP before his election to Parliament.
Pass.
The only city in the county of Cumbria lies about 10 miles south of the Scottish border. What's it called?
Pass.
What colour wine is called vino tinto in Spanish-speaking countries?
Pass.
Who said there were 3 of us in this marriage during a November 1995 interview with Martin Bashir for Panorama?
Pass.
By what name is seasonal allergic rhinitis commonly known? It occurs particularly during the early spring and summer months as a reaction to pollen from grass, trees and weeds.
My brain's pass.
Which American inventor's 1,093 patents include 389 for electric light and power, 195 for the phonograph, 150 for the telegraph, and 141 for storage batteries?
Pass.
Name an inventor.
Pass.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, it was Thomas Edison. And your other pass is hay fever. It's
I knew that.
right.
And I just...
Well, and you knew this as well. Diana, Princess of Wales, said there were 3 of us in this marriage. Vino Tinto is red wine. Carlisle is the only city in the county of Cumbria. Liam Fox is Secretary of State for International Trade. The Eucharist and the Last Supper. Count Dracula was the legend. Elizabeth Moss won that Emmy for her part in The Handmaid's Tale. The Rocky Mountains range down the west coast of North America, and paprika is essential for goulash. You now have a total, Grace, of 9 points. And now, Annie, again, please. And Hollyoaks. It's like most soaps nowadays. They have to have high drama.
Yeah.
Why has that changed so dramatically, do you think?
I think it's television in general. I think if you remember the old, remember I, Claudius back in the BBC days of 1976 or something, and it was very quiet and long scenes and everything. And I think people are used to pacing up the adventure and excitement. I think that a lot of that's come over from America, an American style of filmmaking and television.
So it's got to be a cliffhanger at the end of every episode, and
Not always a horrible cliffhanger. Sometimes it's a funny cliffhanger as well. So it's, you know, I mean, obviously EastEnders has its doof-doofs, and Corrie has this slow fading in of the clarinet and everything. But it's that moment when everyone can go, oh, what's going to happen next?
quite so. Anyway, you have 10 points, and you're in with a very strong chance of becoming Celebrity Mastermind. So here we go. 2 minutes of general knowledge questions. Which rock star wrote and sang Born in the USA and is nicknamed The Boss?
Bruce Springsteen.
Yep. Who grows up with his friends Thumper the Rabbit and Flower the Skunk and becomes the Prince of the Forest in a 1942 Disney animated film?
Bambi.
Yes. What common name that comes from their appearance is given to the sea creatures that have a stiff, flat body, usually with 5 arms, that radiate from a central disc?
Crab.
Starfish. What is the name of the fictional train that leaves King's Cross Station from platform 9 3/4?
Hogwarts Express.
Yes. What is the popular name of the dish that consists of sausages cooked in a Yorkshire pudding batter?
Toad in the Hole.
Yep. The nickname for Chicago is thought to come from its blustery weather or the hot air blown by its boastful politicians. What nickname?
Windy City.
Yep. In what town across the Mersey from Liverpool did William Laird open a small shipbuilding yard in the 1820s that went on to build some of Britain's bigger ships?
Pass.
The works of a British artist include a tiger shark encased in glass in a formaldehyde solution and a cow and calf cut in half displayed in a similar way. Who's the artist?
Damien Hirst.
Yes. What name is given to the components of a petrol engine that cause the ignition of the fuel-air mixture?
Carburetor.
Spark plugs. Which DJ had a #1 hit in 2017 with the album Classic House?
Pass.
Who became king following the death of Queen Victoria on the 22nd of January 1901?
Edward VII.
Yes, in August 2017, the Tigers won the Rugby League Leaders' Shield for the first time in their 91 years. Which West Yorkshire town are they from?
Halifax.
Castleford. In the Roman Catholic Church, the Pope is considered the successor to which of the apostles?
John.
Peter. What word for a large cemetery or burial site comes from the Greek for city of the dead?
Necropolis.
Yes. Which neighbourhood policeman used to hound Top Cat in the television cartoon series?
Officer Dibble.
Yes. What slang term was used in America during Prohibition for a shebeen or illegal drinking den?
Speakeasy.
Yes. Which novel by Daphne du Maurier is narrated by the unnamed second wife of Maxime de Winter?
Rebecca.
Rebecca is correct. You had 2 passes. The DJ who had a #1 hit with Classic House was Pete Tong, and the town across the Mersey from Liverpool, as you know, Birkenhead. However, you have a total now of 21 points. And now, Martin, again, please. And you were a war reporter, a foreign correspondent, when I were nobbut a lad. Do we know more about what's going on in foreign countries and during wars than we did in your day?
The journalism retreats with the technology advances. You can broadcast anything from anywhere now, except the kind of wars we used to report. You can't report them anymore because you're not going to be caught in the crossfire. You're going to be kidnapped, ransomed. So there's been a whole retreat from the real world. I don't know what's going on in Yemen because no one's telling me, but I know all about Kim Kardashian because she was all over the front pages all the time. I don't think it's a healthy development.
Martin, you have 10 points and 21 is the score to beat if you are to become a celebrity mastermind. So here we go. By what name is the large white bear found throughout the Arctic region generally known?
Polar bear.
Yep. What's supposed to have crashed on Roswell, New Mexico in July 1947?
UFO?
Yep. With which larger neighbour did the south coast town of Hove merge in 1997 to form a single unitary authority? 3 years later, it was granted city status.
Brighton.
Yep. The French educator Pierre Parent de Coubertin was a central figure in the revival of an international sporting event in 1896. What was it?
Olympics.
Yep. What is the world's largest country in terms of surface area?
Russia.
Yep. Which Basque city that was bombed in 1937 during the Spanish Civil War inspired a celebrated painting by Picasso?
Guernica.
Yep. Al-Fatiha, meaning the opening in Arabic, is the first chapter of which holy book?
Quran.
Yes. No Cunning Plan is the title of the 2016 autobiography of a former Time Team presenter best known for playing Baldrick in Blackadder. Who is he?
Tony, pass.
Which fortified dessert wine is traditionally produced in the Douro region of northern Portugal?
Port.
Yep. Bronze is an alloy that consists principally of copper and what other metal?
Iron.
Tin. In 1976, which newsreader memorably performed a high-kicking dance as a guest on the Morecambe and Wise Christmas show?
The wonderful Angela Rippon.
Yes. What name for the group of mainly aquatic animals, such as crabs, lobster and shrimps, comes from the Latin for shell?
Crustaceans.
Yep. In 1603, James VI of Scotland became the first monarch of a particular royal dynasty to rule England when he was crowned James I. Which dynasty?
Stuart.
Yep. Which British author's novels include Sons and Lovers, The Rainbow and Women in Love?
D.X. Lawrence.
Yes. In which parlour game does one player act out each syllable of a word or phrase while other players try to guess it?
Pass.
Which Canadian-born Eurovision Song Contest winner had #1 hits in the 1990s with Think Twice and My Heart Will Go On?
Pass.
What name for a flat-bottomed Venetian boat is given to the suspended passenger-carrying compartment of an airship or hot air balloon?
Gondola.
Gondola, yeah. By what name, meaning the closest point on the Earth's surface to the centre of a nuclear explosion, is the former site of the World Trade Center in New York commonly known?
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero is correct. You had 3 passes. Celine Dion was the Eurovision Song Contest winner. Charades, or charades, whichever you prefer, was the parlour game. And Tony Robinson.
Of course.
Of course. Martin, you did more than enough. 24 points.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
So let's have a look at all of the scores. In 4th place, 9 points, Grace. 3rd place, 14 points, Dane. 2nd place, 21 points, Annie. 1st place, 24 points, Martin. Martin,
Go on.
I have seen you receive many awards in my time. I've never actually presented one to you, so congratulations.
I'm deeply honoured.
A great privilege.
It is a scary experience, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, congratulations. Well done. Now, you don't have to be a celebrity to take part in the regular Mastermind programme. If you'd like to appear in the next series on BBC Two, do visit us online at bbc.co.uk/Mastermind, and you can follow us on Twitter at Mastermind Quiz. Either way, do join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.